It's the J.R. Joker Show. Please pay attention because our options have changed. How's it doing? Okay, before we go any further, you know, I'm just obsessed with this. Does this potato masher make me look fat? Be honest. You know. Or is it flattering? What do you think? Well, let me know. I haven't done any meth since June 1st. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kind of a dubious celebration when you consider that prior to June 1st, I never did meth either. My dope history is that I no longer smoke pot, hashish, opium, cocaine paste or base. I no longer snort heroin or cocaine. I don't do opium. I don't smoke cigarettes. I gave up all forms of alcohol, even beer and wine. Don't eat meat, and I'm celibate. I have one vice. I lie. My dope history is like my first year at the University of Florida. I'm a clean-cut young fellow. And this honor student who has an apartment in my building, I don't know how I met him, but anyway, lived on a different floor, which in these situations, it's like a different solar system, you know. So I don't even remember how I met him. But he offered me some tea. We didn't call it pot. We didn't call it cannabis. We didn't call it marijuana. We didn't call it ganja. We mostly called it tea and then grass. Grass beat out tea, and tea didn't last long. Grass. I think some people still might call it grass, but we pretty much called it grass. And it didn't help my grades. I didn't become an honor student like him. I was an honor student kind of before that, and then later after. This isn't about that. Anyway, so he took me to a man who could sell me some grass, some tea. And I had a sock I put my change in. And there's about $13.50 in it. And he accepted that, and he gave me a lid of pot. We used to use that term. It was kind of an ounce, a lid. Kind of an ounce. Or $13.50. Which, this is back when, well, gas was like 40 cents a gallon, something like that. So, anyway, from my first lid, from my first possession of pot, I remember trying to get high with it with my roommate. Then we put on the Rolling Stones, His Satanic Majesty's Request, and we're eating candy with it, and I don't know, but I did not get stoned. But some kid down the hall got wind of the fact that I had some grass, and he asked me to sell him a joint for 50 cents, which I did, and bells went off in my head. And so pretty much back then, if you smoked, you dealt. And the next thing I know, the price skyrockets to $20 an ounce. So I asked somebody, like, where does this stuff come from? And somebody said Colombia, and I said, South Carolina? You stupid idiot. It's a country in South America. Oh, yeah. Well, so I got a passport and a vaccination list. I got some pamphlet that came with my passport. It said, if you go to the following countries, you need the following vaccinations. So I went to a doctor and was like, shh. Apparently they have like every known plague in Colombia. And when I landed there, you know, you got to show them your passport. They give you a 90-day visa. And it could be anybody. They don't check. I mean, back in those days, there were no computers, so, you know, you could be Charles Manson and they give you a 90-day visa. They don't care. And then I tried to show somebody my vaccination card. I still remember it was yellow, kind of an odd, cumbersome size, like it was bigger than the passport, so you couldn't like put it in the passport. Well, you could, but anyway. And nobody cared. Nobody wanted to see my vaccination. They didn't care what I was vaccinated against. Complete indifference to all those shots I endured. Anyway, the next thing you know, I'm involved with boatloads of weed, grass, tea, and that's that. Rom-coms. How's that for a segue? I hate them. Romantic comedies, rom-coms. Back in my day, we used to call those kind of, I was going to say películas, segueing into Spanish. Movies, boy meets girl. A boy meets girl movie. Because the plot is boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl. And which is pretty much still the way it is. But I mean, in those days, it was like, yeah, the girl will marry the guy. That's like, you know, the goal. It seems a little more wholesome and supportive of Western civilization if that happens. But now it's pretty much, you know, boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy lays girl. I mean, you know, they just want to have sex. I mean, even like a good comedy like Groundhog Day, which I thought was an interesting karma comedy about this guy who has just an unusual life where something happens to him and he has to relive the same day over and over. Like, you don't know. I said Groundhog Day, you know the plot. Okay, so how does it end? He finally gets the girl for whom he has the hots into the sack. And then he wakes up and it's a new, different day. That's it? He has sex, so that's it? And there's so many other movies like that. Even the very funny Judd Apatow high watermark, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Seth Rogen's high watermark. And how does that end? The guy finally has sex. And then they have no ending for the movie, so they start singing a song from Hair. Terrible. Terrible ending. You know, but it had enough scenes that it was funny enough, you know. Ripping the hair off his chest and egg salad, you know. So it's funny enough. It was funny enough. But I hate rom-coms. I hate the fact that there's even a genre called rom-coms. And I warn you all, keep them away from me. Don't like rom-coms. Okay, so we'll keep it short. Don't smoke any tea unless you have some real medical reason. I mean, not now everybody's looking for a reason like to get a prescription for marijuana. Oh, I suffer from anxiety disorder. I'm just stressed out all the time. Well, get a service animal. The service animal makes me tense, you know. So everyone's going to find an excuse, you know. So, but I don't get hysterical over it. It's like hard drugs, you know. Obviously, it's bad, you know, heroin and cocaine and meth. But I think I'd rather see you snort some meth and watch a rom-com. What a thing to say. Okay, so this is J.R. Joker, and again, does the potato masher make me look fat? Seriously.